because the Arsenicum album has an intolerance of people who are expecting something from him. The patient is always expecting a lot. So I was in a dilemma, a big dilemma, whether to become a psychotherapist or to become homeopath.
This guy wanted to prove he was Arsenicum personality, and I wrote a paper about this paper. And you said, oh, this was me. Hello, dear friends, homeopaths. This is Barbara Liberowicz, Homeo Sapiens. After some break, we are back. My guest today is Dr. Vangelis Zafeiriou. Hello, Dr. Zafeiriou.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Nice to see you.
We met at the jury conference in Warsaw, and we discovered, at least I discovered, I know you for some time already. Many years ago, I wrote a paper about your paper. We were talking about, I think, Arsenicum personality of Samuel Hahnemann. And then I told you, a guy from Greece wrote about Sigmund Freud. And this guy wanted to prove he was Arsenicum personality. And I wrote a paper about this paper. And you said, oh, this was me. Are you still thinking Hahnemann was Arsenicum album personality?
We know from his life that once he took this remedy, Samuel Hahnemann. Freud did not have homeopathic treatment. Hahnemann was very meticulous, very fastidious about everything. We know from his work. He did it in a very detailed way, which is also necessity for science. He was very much concerned about money. Several references in his life story from his biographers that he was very much concerned about money. He was a family type person, and we know from our materia medica that Arsenicum personality is a family type person. He was very much concerned about science in general. It was his main love in life, science, and we know from our materia medica that one of the most scientific minds, one of the remedies that correspond to the most scientific minds is Arsenicum album.
So far you didn't convince me, because what you describe, it is perfect Kalium carbonicum picture.
Yes, there is a similarity of Arsenicum with Kalium carbonicum that we have to differentiate several times for our patients. But Kalium carbonicum patient is not famous for its fastidiousness, is not famous for being average, concerned a lot by money. Kalium carbonicum is a more routine person, while Arsenicum album is a more workaholic and in a fastidious way, and a more scientific, more inquiring mind, while Kalium carbonicum does not have those characteristics. This is an issue we always face when trying to correspond the patient's picture to a remedy picture. We always have to take into consideration differential diagnosis. Is a correct comment.
Okay, so I remember from this paper on Sigmund Freud that you were comparing Arsenicum album picture to the rules of psychoanalysis. So you mentioned that Freud used the merchant language. He was talking about therapeutic contract.
The money connecting issue.
He also tried to maintain control, and he wrote very detailed rules. What is the position of the patient? What is the distance between the patient and the therapist, the doctor, during psychotherapy?
Most possibly it was the main reason, subconscious reason, but conscious reason also, that he discovered the bed where the patient has to lie. He also said that therapists should be behind the head of the patient, so there is no eye contact between the patient and the therapist. We know from arsenicum that is afraid, they cannot tolerate, let's say, arsenicum album patient cannot tolerate being looked at the eyes. Is the main person in this rubric in the repertory. Looked at cannot bear to be is the rubric in the repertory. Arsenicum album patients cannot tolerate to be looked in the eyes from another person. This is much more true because arsenicum album has an intolerance of people who are expecting something from him. The patient is always expecting a lot from the therapist. So those two things show towards arsenicum album. The fact that he described the patient-therapist relationship with terms of money contract, he called it therapeutic contract, as if we sign papers. This is the borders that are needed in the life of an arsenicum album patient, strict borders or rules. In other psychotherapeutic techniques, these rules are not stated at all. There is more freedom in this relationship. It was the correct decision to follow homeopathy because from homeopathy I understood the psychotherapy process also, and why I understood also why there are so many psychotherapeutic theories, different, very different from one to the other. And this also corresponds to the personality of the founder of each psychotherapeutic method. This is another interesting story, the similarity between the personality of the founder of a psychotherapeutic theory with the psychotherapeutic theory that he discovered. So there is a similarity of personality of Freud with the theory of psychoanalysis. There is a very beautiful similarity between the personality of Alfred Adler and the Adlerian psychotherapeutic theory or psychological theory. Adler's personality corresponds very well to Lycopodium picture homeopathically. He is talking about power, that the desire for every person is to gain power. This corresponds to Lycopodium persons, but not to every person. One mistake all of those psychological theory founders is that they believe that their theory corresponds to all persons. Mainly, they correspond to persons similar, that have similar personalities to the founder of the theory, to persons like them. So, main thing in Adler's theory is that every person is looking in his life for gaining power. But the desire for power is first remedy. The desire for power, main remedy, or the only remedy in the repertoire is Lycopodium.
Do you base your homeopathic diagnosis and remedy choice on your feeling?
Including my feeling.
Uh-huh.
Even a taxi driver feels a change in the atmosphere of the taxi of his taxi from one client to the other. As one client after the other enters his taxi, the atmosphere inside the taxi changes. The taxi driver feels this change, although it is possible that he cannot describe it, but most of them feel the change. We feel differently when each patient comes after the other one. The climate in our office changes. So it means that we change because of the influence of the personality of the certain patient or client in the taxi driver case. If we become able to read this change of us, which is due to the patient, this is an important information about the patient's remedy. But in order to find this remedy, we have to have a big experience what the patients that need a certain remedy radiate. So this cannot work for what we call in homeopathy rare remedies. For rare remedies, we don't have so many cases. This is why we call them rare remedies, in order to have this feeling and to recognize this feeling. So first we have to recognize that we changed. Second, to recognize what kind of change we have after the patient came into the office. And last, to give a name to this change, the name of the remedy. This is not the only tool we use to find the remedy.
Of course,
We use additionally to the other information.
So are you so aggressive with homeopathic potencies, dosage every hour or something like this? Yeah.
No. Usually, I don't give so many doses if it is so high, the potency. So what I see from practice is that one dose is enough.
Really?
Usually.
Usually
Is one dose is enough. For some kind of what I call hard diseases, like lateral amyotrophic sclerosis, ALS, sarcoid disease, or severe Parkinson's disease, epilepsy, some cases of very bad epilepsy, very frequently and very generalized. I think that one can use up to 3 or 4 high potencies. It is enough, 1 m or 10 m or 203 or 4 times every 2 or 3 days, and 1 every 2 or 3 days. And I think it is enough for several months.
I think everybody has his, experience with dose repetition, a frequency of repetition, and it reflects the personality and
this is very correct.
Yeah, and
this is very correct.
Temperament of the person. So I'm very aggressive with this.
It's not a matter of aggressiveness. I think most a precise term is the term of impulsiveness and extroversion. The more extrovert.
Do you think I'm extrovert?
The more extrovert an homeopath is, and the more impulsive, the more he tends to give higher and more frequently doses, repetition of the remedy. The more conserved an homeopath is, the smaller potencies and the less frequently he uses them. So it is always individualized, besides the personality of the homeopath that tends to give many more or much less than needed. I finished together the specialty of psychiatry and my studies in homeopathy. I finished at the same year, the same time. So I was in a dilemma, in a big dilemma, whether to become a psychotherapist or to become homeopath. I did not want to do both of them because I needed to have some free time for my personal life. I did not want to spend all my life in a scientific application. So for 1 month I was almost crazy because I was not able to decide which one of the two. And at that time it was both Vifulkas and my teacher in psychotherapy, who was, they were both asking me to follow their own way to become a psychotherapist, and Vifulkas was asking me. So I had 3 meetings in 1 month with Vifulkas and 3 meetings with my teacher in psychotherapy. And they were trying to convince me to follow their own way. I don't know why. I decided to follow homeopathy with a percentage of 51%, 1% more than in psychotherapy, but I don't know why I took the decision. After I followed homeopathy, I knew that it was the correct decision.